It all started one day when I came home from school. I came home from school and I was tired, exhausted, didn't have any motivation or energy to do my homework or study for exams. As usual, I sat down on my couch, took my phone, and was just about to start doom scrolling when I got an idea. I thought, why not just start? Why not just try for 3 minutes? To do it for 3 minutes. To start writing that essay for 3 minutes. So I started, and I worked on it, I worked on it, and I worked on it. Those 3 minutes went past, 5 minutes went past, then 30 minutes, and an hour, and even more. And I didn't even realize it. The time just flew past. And there was no struggle at all after that. I realized that overthinking is a trap that most people fall into, and the only solution to solve that is taking action. And the way we always get stuck is that we think that we are still planning. We convince ourselves that we're still planning, which we aren't. In truthfulness, how much do you actually need to plan? Some of you, or me also, have planned for 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, a month, or even a year. How much do you really need? At what point in the planning process does planning turn into action? Why would you just keep on planning if you never take the action? Then the planning is truly obsolete, because the planning is just the preface to the action. The planning should be 20% when the action should be 80%. Action is the thing you should focus on the most. Another trap many people fall into with overthinking is confusion and hesitation. They are confused what they should do, so they start overthinking it. And they overthink it, and they hesitate because they don't know truly what way to go, but what exactly to do. But the action and the path that you take becomes truly clear only when you have started taking action and when you're actually moving on that path, moving along it. Successful people didn't know exactly where they were supposed to go, what path they were supposed to take. They just started, took the risk, and hoped for the best. Under the way, they found out the clear path, they went that way, and they succeeded. If they never had started because they didn't know the perfect path, then they wouldn't be successful. They wouldn't have gotten anywhere because they would have been stuck. The truth is that you will never know exactly what you need to do or what path you exactly need to take to get to your destination. You just have to take one path and stick to it and try to figure out if that actually is the correct one. What's the logical thing to do if you're at a crossroad and you don't have Google Maps, you don't have any sort of way of knowing where you are, you don't know, you're just somewhere in a random place, in another country, you don't speak the language. What do? Well, you have 2 ways to go, 2 paths to take. Do you just stay there, waiting, not doing anything, or do you take action, go on the one path, in one direction, and see where that leads? Obviously you do that. Why would you stay here? Nobody is going to help you here. So you take the path and you go that way. If it's the wrong turn, if it's the wrong path, then you turn around and go the other way. But if it's the correct one, then you keep on going that way. That's just how it is. You don't stay in the crossroad. You go one way and try. Why would you stay in the crossroad? That is fully a waste of time. The longer you stay at the crossroad, the more time you totally waste. Because you don't have any other option in the long run than just taking a path and going that way. You are still stuck in the crossroad. You will never get away from there if you don't take a path. So sometimes you have to do that. And the longer you wait, the longer it will take. Many people start overcomplicating it when they are confused or hesitate. So they start overthinking it, and by overthinking it, they start overcomplicating and thinking it's much scarier than it actually is. In the big run, in the long run, it doesn't really matter. You can always start again, or at least most of the time. Isn't the biggest thing in the world. You just have to try, but you start overcomplicating. You start getting so much fear, so many excuses. Do you think that the people that are successful, the professional athletes, do you think that they stopped because fear, stopped because some excuse? No, they kept on moving. They didn't stay there. They started doing something, took the action as I just said, and kept on moving. So the rule that I have, the one rule that I have, as you might have already figured out, is take action first and think later. Imagine a spaceship taking off. Here is the spaceship. You have fuel, and the initial 3 or 5 minutes, that's the fuel and the takeoff. Your spaceship starts flying up into the sky. What do? Well, obviously it keeps on moving. The initial takeoff is what takes the most energy. When it's actually moving, it needs way less energy. But to get to the less energy, you have to get from the start. And you have to do this before your brain starts getting excuses, before your brain just doesn't want to do it anymore. Before you are like, no, it's too risky. No, I could die by going on a spaceship. You have to do it before that. Because when you're actually up here, there's no turning back. And that's how it should be. When you're in motion, moving up, it's harder to stop than to keep on moving. It follows Newton's law. An object moving keeps on moving if another force stops it. But why would you try to stop this? That just increases the risk of you failing. So you let this go and you try to decrease the amount of things that could stop it moving upwards, because the upwards motion is the safest now after the takeoff. So you remove the distractions, in this case with doing schoolwork and stuff. You remove the distractions when you have actually started, so you actually can focus on it, because you don't want to stop because of some distraction, so then you have to focus once again. That's not what you want to do. Then when you have gotten up into space, that's only in retrospect that you can actually realize that, oh, it wasn't that bad. It was fine. That was the right way to do it. And then you're actually happy that you did it. If you don't want to go to the gym, you're like lazy, you don't, oh no, today I don't want to go. But then you actually go. You do it regardless. Why is it that when you're there, it may feel hard, it may feel tiring, but afterwards, it is the best feeling in the world. You feel so accomplished because you've actually done something, even when you didn't want to. And wouldn't you have invested in Bitcoin or something in 2012 if you could have? Well, obviously you would have. But that you can only see that in retrospect. That is why it only becomes clear when doing it and in retrospect. So you just have to do the action, and trying something and failing is so much better, 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times better than not trying, staying at the same place and not doing anything. Because by trying, you at least go somewhere, you try your best. That is at least something. And the momentum that you have going up, it just stacks. You become go faster and faster and faster. Suddenly an hour has passed when I started that project or essay or anything. The benefits of doing this one rule, that taking action first and not thinking about it that much, is that you waste less time overall. You don't waste the time actually not doing anything, because you have started taking action. So this time that you would usually spend just waiting to get the motivation or discipline or lazy, you're just lazy. That's what is it? 1 hour each day. If you have put that into the work, you would have gotten a lot more done more quickly. You have been done with the task more quickly. You would have freed up time to do other things. It's better to get the things done than to put them into a really small box of time that you are really stressed out about. I would rather get my tasks, my important tasks done in the morning, so that in the evening I can do whatever I want. I don't have to have shame for not having done my task. By actually taking action first, by not wasting the time deciding, you get some self-esteem, you build self-love, you build self-trust, you build your character. Courage and discipline is what happens when you take an action, even when you don't want to. You're not courageous if you take an action when you want to take an action. You're only courageous when you take an action when you don't want to take an action. It goes the same with discipline. You take the action even when you don't want to take the action. That's discipline. And that's what you need to keep on moving. Take the action. Don't think about it too much. By trying this one thing, doing the 5 minutes, the 10 minutes, the 3 minutes, whatever, you build that character of the person that actually starts doing things. You become the doer. You start doing things. That builds the confidence in yourself that when you have a thing in front of you, you know that you can put your focus on it, you can start it, you can get it done with a certain time frame. You don't need to be sad about yourself, you don't need to be shameful about yourself. You know that you can do it. That is one of the best things in the world, when you trust yourself. Because you yourself is the person that you have to be with the whole entire of your life. So why not trust yourself? Why not be the person that you can believe in? When you take action, you naturally don't have as much time for bad and unenjoyable habits like scrolling. Sure, you may say that, yo, I like scrolling. Well, no, you actually don't. It's just your brain trying to convince you that it needs some more dopamine, because you're overstimulated. That's another thing that contributes to the confusion. You're overstimulated. Your brain just wants to do the easiest thing. That has always been how our brains have functioned. Because by doing the easiest thing, you expend the least amount of energy. That was in our tribal days. Now we have energy in excess. Many people are really fat. So now you don't need to do the least amount of thing. You need to do the most. Because now you have so much energy. You have too much energy. So you need to expend that energy. And that you do by taking action. Not by sitting down and scrolling the whole day. As a recap, what would you rather do? Would you rather have gotten home from school, you know that you have an exam tomorrow, you know that you have the time today to study, you have maybe 5 hours to study, in your future self, what are you more grateful for? That you have studied for the 5 hours or the 3 hours, or at least something, or you scrolled away the whole evening? First of all, how do you feel in the evening after scrolling away? Do you feel good to go to sleep? Obviously not. Do you feel like you will ace the exam tomorrow? No. Do you feel stressed? Well, obviously yes, because now you have exam to worry even more about. So please take the action first. Take a little bit of action, because little bit is a lot better than nothing. And just try it. Start. Attempt it, because failing is not as bad as you think. If you're able to watch this video, you are in a place that you are able to watch this. So that means that you have the possibility of actually doing something and failing and then trying again. So use that. Take the action first and think later. This obviously applies to most things that you don't want to do, but then things obviously that you shouldn't do, then you should think about that first, because you shouldn't do some bad thing. If you like this and you need some personal help, I have a one-on-one call you can book with me in the description. It doesn't cost anything for the first people, but I will increase the price as more people join. But I will help you with your problems and give you another perspective on the problems you are experiencing and such. Thank you for watching. Peace.